Today, breaking news: tensions are rising once again along Ukraine's northern and eastern borders as Russia and Belarus increase military activity, fueling fresh concerns across Europe and beyond. Satellite images, troop movements, and new military drills are drawing global attention. Ukraine is watching carefully, knowing that every shift in position could signal something much bigger. The region is entering another uncertain phase, and the pressure along the border is becoming impossible to ignore. Over the past few days, reports indicate a noticeable buildup of Russian forces near key strategic zones. Equipment convoys, armored vehicles, artillery systems, and air defense units have been spotted moving closer to Ukrainian territory. While Moscow insists these are routine exercises, the timing has raised serious questions. Military analysts argue that such movements rarely happen without political signaling behind them. Belarus, positioned directly north of Ukraine, has also intensified its military cooperation with Russia. Joint exercises between the two countries are expanding in scale and complexity. Training drills now include coordinated air operations, missile simulations, and rapid deployment maneuvers. For Ukraine, the possibility of pressure from multiple directions complicates defense planning significantly. The partnership between Russia and Belarus is not new, but the current tempo is different. Belarus has allowed Russian troops to use its territory for staging operations before. Now, expanded infrastructure improvements near border zones suggest preparation for longer-term positioning. That sends a strong message to Kiev and to NATO observers monitoring the region. Ukraine's leadership has responded by reinforcing defensive lines and increasing surveillance along vulnerable areas. Reserve units are reportedly on higher alert. Air defense systems have been repositioned to protect key cities and infrastructure. Officials stress that the country is prepared for any scenario, but they also emphasize that prevention and deterrence remain the priority. The border pressure is not only military but psychological. Frequent air raid alerts, reconnaissance drone sightings, and cyber activities create constant tension among civilians. Even without active large-scale offensives, the pressure keeps Ukraine's resources stretched. Defense planners must allocate troops across a wide front, reducing flexibility elsewhere. Russia's strategic objective could involve testing Ukraine's defensive readiness. By mobilizing forces near the border, Moscow forces Kiev to respond, potentially draining manpower and equipment. This type of strategic pressure can weaken morale and complicate long-term planning. Military analysts call it controlled escalation, where movement alone becomes a tool. Belarus plays a critical geographic role in this equation. Its territory offers a direct route towards central Ukraine. Although Belarus officially denies plans for involvement in direct combat operations, its cooperation with Russian forces leaves open the possibility of logistical or operational support. This uncertainty increases Ukraine's defensive burden. International observers are watching closely. NATO member states bordering Eastern Europe have increased surveillance flights and intelligence sharing. Diplomatic channels remain active, but statements from Western officials suggest growing concern. Any miscalculation in this environment could rapidly escalate. The buildup also affects global markets. Energy prices react quickly to instability in Eastern Europe. Grain exports, already impacted by conflict disruptions, could face additional challenges if border tensions escalate further. Investors remain cautious as geopolitical risk rises. From a military standpoint, the mobilization appears layered. Ground forces are supported by advanced missile systems and electronic warfare units. This combination suggests preparedness for more than simple drills. However, intentions remain unclear. Russia has previously used exercises as cover for strategic repositioning. Ukraine's defense strategy has evolved significantly since earlier phases of conflict. Modernized tactics, improved intelligence coordination, and enhanced drone capabilities strengthen its position. Still, facing pressure from multiple directions requires constant adaptation. Cyber operations are another dimension of the current tension. Reports of attempted disruptions targeting Ukrainian infrastructure continue. Power grids, communication systems, and government networks remain high-value targets. Even minor cyber incidents can create fear and uncertainty among the population. The psychological impact on civilians cannot be underestimated. Border communities remain alert. Families prepare contingency plans. Schools and hospitals conduct emergency drills. The sense of living under constant watch shapes daily life in affected regions. Diplomatically, Ukraine continues to seek reassurance from allies. Financial and military assistance packages are under discussion in several Western capitals. The goal is to strengthen deterrence and signal unity against potential aggression. Yet diplomatic solutions remain complex. Russia maintains that its movements are defensive in nature. Officials argue that NATO expansion and Western military aid to Ukraine justify heightened readiness. This narrative is repeated in official statements and state media, shaping domestic opinion. Belarus positions itself as a stabilizing partner while simultaneously hosting joint exercises. This dual messaging creates ambiguity. It keeps options open while signaling alignment with Moscow's strategic interests. Military analysts debate whether the mobilization signals preparation for a new offensive phase or serves as leverage in negotiations. The ambiguity itself is powerful. It keeps Ukraine and its allies uncertain, forcing continuous readiness. Weather conditions also play a role. Seasonal changes affect mobility and logistics. Historically, certain periods provide more favorable conditions for large-scale ground operations. Observers consider these factors when assessing the risk timeline. Air power developments are equally important. Increased patrol flights and air defense repositioning indicate readiness for rapid response. Control of airspace remains a decisive factor in any escalation scenario. Economic strain adds another layer of complexity. Prolonged mobilization costs resources. Both Russia and Belarus must balance military readiness with domestic stability. Ukraine faces similar pressures while maintaining wartime resilience. Public messaging from Kiev emphasizes calm and preparedness. Officials aim to avoid panic while reinforcing national unity. Communications strategy becomes critical in managing public perception. Intelligence assessments from Western agencies suggest heightened alert levels, but stop short of confirming imminent large-scale action. This cautious language reflects the difficulty of interpreting troop movements without clear operational indicators. Meanwhile, humanitarian organizations prepare contingency plans. Border pressure can trigger displacement if fighting intensifies. Aid groups coordinate with local authorities to ensure rapid response capability. The broader geopolitical landscape influences calculations. Relations between Russia and Western powers remain strained. Sanctions, diplomatic disputes, and military aid programs shape the strategic environment. Energy infrastructure remains a key vulnerability. Previous attacks on power facilities demonstrated the impact on civilian life. Strengthening protection around such sites is now a priority for Ukrainian authorities. Belarus's internal politics also matter. Domestic considerations may influence how far it is willing to engage militarily. Maintaining stability within its borders is essential for its leadership. The possibility of hybrid tactics remains high. Limited incursions, drone strikes, or sabotage operations could occur without triggering full-scale confrontation. Such actions maintain pressure while avoiding dramatic escalation. Ukraine's armed forces have improved coordination with international partners. Real-time intelligence sharing enhances early warning capability. This network reduces surprise risk compared to earlier phases of the conflict. However, sustained mobilization along the border keeps tension elevated. Even without immediate conflict, the constant readiness strains personnel and equipment. Strategically, Russia may seek to test Western unity. If border pressure intensifies without unified response, it could influence future calculations. For now, the situation remains fluid. Troop concentrations shift. Statements evolve. Analysts monitor satellite imagery and communications for clues. The central question is whether mobilization transforms into action or remains a strategic signal. That uncertainty defines the current moment. Ukraine stands alert, balancing caution with resilience. Russia and Belarus continue coordinated movements, reinforcing their strategic partnership. Border pressure is not just about geography. It is about influence, deterrence, and perception. As the world watches, the next moves will shape not only regional stability, but broader global security dynamics. The coming days and weeks will be critical in determining whether this buildup becomes another chapter of confrontation or a calculated display of strength designed to shift negotiations. For now, the border remains tense, the forces remain mobilized, and Ukraine remains watchful under mounting pressure.